Hi, this is going to be a great session because I want to introduce two really brilliant artists. They're called the Eads brothers. That's how Cindy always refers to them. They're really dear friends of Cindy's, and she introduced them to the Kulturban project and the Kultur Stories initiative. So I want to introduce Eran and Emerson Eads, and they work together. They're collaborators. They work with each other in creating words and music. And I understand that they have an interesting process in which comes first, writing the words or composing the music. So they're gonna they're gonna talk to us about how all that works. And I believe they've recently composed something that speaks to the issues that we're concerned about, focused on about oppression. So I want to invite Emerson and Eran to take it away.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Gail, very
Yeah.
much. So I initially met Emerson first, and then I met his brother, Eran. And since then, we've worked together in several different capacities, in the arts, of course. But I thought it would be great if we started out letting both of them give us some words to describe themselves and their identity, since that is the theme we're working with today. So, Eran, why don't we start with you? If you could give us some words to help define yourself, pick your top three or four, what would you say?
Well, in this case, I think the first one would be brother. I think it's so special to me that I get to be a part of this. And it's because of the connection with Emerson and then with you, Cindy. And also as a writer, I'm connected with how words are presented. And I've always been fascinated with it. It's why I have chosen to do poetry. And I'm going to stick with writer and brother for now. We'll come up with more as we go along.
Terrific. That's great. That's a great start. Thank you. Emerson.
I'm glad you had Eran go first. But it's just such an honor to be included in this session, and it's so beautiful to see all your faces. I don't know words to describe me. I kind of swelled with emotion when Eran said brother first, and so I have to say that as well. It's always so meaningful to be able to work on something that's long lasting, that's art that will live longer than we will, with one's brother. I mean, there's no one in the world I love more. So that's beautiful. But I also am a composer and conductor, and just love living in music.
Great. So let's get to that. So, where are the two of you from? Can you give us a little bit of your background? Eran, why don't we start with you?
Okay. Well, we are both from Alaska, and we're from a small little community. It was very, very remote, and I'll let Emerson go from there.
So when he says very remote, he really means very remote. I mean, it was 100 miles from the nearest town, from the nearest city of 40,000. So there was a city of like 40,000 people in Fairbanks, dead center. I think it's actually the same parallel as Sweden. A lot of Sweden kind of sits in that parallel. But anyway, it's a very it's right along a river. It's very, very remote. But we kind of I certainly came to music through a high school teacher who was there, who should not have been there. She was really, really talented and actually had faith in us little youngsters there in the middle of nowhere. That's kind of where we started, where I started and where Eran started. And then we both left eventually, and went to the big city, went to Fairbanks of 40,000 people. That was like, wow, for us. And then we both went our separate ways eventually in grad school, and but during that whole time, I mean, even as a young kid, there was a lot of creative energy. You know, there was never a moment where I wasn't trying to figure out something at the piano and write it down. So
Sure. And Eran, were you writing also all the time when you went off to college? Were you always, when did poetry really start for you, where you were actually crafting a poem?
Um, I was always writing. As a young kid, I was writing. I would go into the town, into the library, and the librarian would sneak me books of poetry in covers from like children's books, and I would go and read like Sylvia Plath and Czesław Miłosz, and it was I was always connected, and I think I started taking a poetry class when I went to college. It was my first class, and I was really nervous about everything and about being a writer and having that label, because it's a little bit embarrassing. It's kind of looked down on to be a writer, a creator. And I remember the poet Derek Burleson, he was teaching the course, and he read a poem, and the very last line was, "It seems I was called for this, to glorify things just because they are." And it was that moment where I decided, yeah, I think this is what I want to dedicate my life to. I want to celebrate things just because they exist, and I think that there's a beauty to that, and that's where I started.
Well, that's going to lead me right into saying about sharing the words from this piece that you all collaborated on. If Eran, would you mind just starting to read it?
Sure, I can.
Can you see it?
Mm-hmm. To make myself less nervous, I made it so I can only see two people on the screen, so I can only see you, Cindy, and then the words. So it starts off with the full choir, and they start saying, "We will seek, we will find, we will shine." And then the soloist.
You don't have to tell us what the soloist is. You can just read the poem and leave that alone. God love you.
Actually, can Emerson read it? So we will seek, we will find, we will shine. Emerson, do you want to read the solo?
Sure. Night is falling over you. Sleep, dear child, my love holds true. When you have no light to bring, just remember the song I sing. In the dark winter night so long, light will shine when you sing this song. We are not here to curse the darkness, but we are here to be a light. Yes, we are here to be a light.
Eran?
Go ahead, Eran. Continue.
Children and parents searching for safety, and then held in cages, and then held in cages.
Children and parents. Oh, where are we? Children and parents longing for a cut of their own, and then separated.
We are not here to curse the darkness, but we are here to be a light. Yes, we are here to be a light. Lord Jesus, come quickly, Lord, I pray. Lord Jesus, come quickly and glorify your name. Thy kingdom come, thy will shall be done on earth as in heaven. Lord Jesus, come. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as in heaven. Lord Jesus, come.
I am here to be light. I am here to be light. I am here to be light. We'll shine in the darkness. The darkness has not overcome us. No, the darkness will not overcome us.
And Eran, closing.
The light shines within us. The light shines within us. We will seek, we will find, we will shine. Shine, shine. We'll seek, we'll find, we'll shine. Shine. We'll shine, we'll shine, we will shine.
Hey. So, gentlemen, who did what first? How does it start? Do you write the music first? Do you write the words first? Eran, what would you say for this collaboration? What happened first?
Thank you for letting me go first, because I can't wait to throw him under the bus. We both love the other person to bring something first, and so what we always want, like, I always want him to provide me some music, and then I can write something, and he always wants the words, and it's it's always a struggle to begin. And he brought, Emerson brought the "I am here to be a light" line, and then I was able to write from there. But usually we both like the other person to bring something in first.
Yeah, that is so true. We both struggle at the outset, and honestly, it's one of the reasons why we don't collaborate more. If I can be totally honest, we both I think being brothers is also probably a stumbling block to that, because we know each other so well, that we have the potential to stifle each other's creativity because we know each other so well. And in this case, that did not happen, thankfully. But I do want to say that the center section, there's some text in there that was so this kind of started off being, and I don't know if Cindy, I don't know if you want us to go here, but it started off being sort of a statement about our time and about our social, what we're doing, our politics, where we are, who we are. And then eventually it got to be so personal. It went from children and parents separated, to being Eran and me separated from our parents. That feeling, it became very personal. So much so that I brought in a song of my dad's, which is that segment in the middle, which says, "Lord Jesus, come quickly, Lord, I pray." That section in there, that's kind of a sacred text, is interpolated from my dad. It's a song of my dad's, and of our Father. I'm sorry. And so it really became a statement about how we need to be unified and how unity can take place, but it starts on the cellular level. It happens in the family first, and then moves out from there. I mean, I wanted to make a statement about our politics, about our society, about something deep. And it turned out we were speaking to ourselves. We were speaking to our own issues. And so sometimes creativity can be extremely dark and extremely challenging in that regard, because you come face to face with your own inadequacy and failure.
So I'll throw this question to Eran. So Eran, when I read children, parents held in cages, is that a reference to the very large immigration problem that's going on with the United States? And it certainly occurred politically with our last president, and now it's still an issue on our present president's plate. Is that a tie-in also?
Yes, it definitely is. And the original line, "We are not here to curse the darkness, but here to be a light." That was a JFK line. And he, in his speech, he was talking about children on farms. And Emerson and I grew up on a farm, and that connection was so strong. And then we're thinking now about these children who are held in cages, and it's a horrible situation at the border. And I won't go too much into that because it's just despicable. But we were thinking about that, and then leading into, like, what can we do? How can we help these people? And so yes, that was a definite reference to the border issue and how those people are being treated.
So I've just called up the piece of music now. So we see, everyone, that Emerson and Eran are listed on the first page as poet or librettist, lyrics, and the composer. So why don't we start walking through this front end of the song? Emerson, how you were inspired to start it?
So the first thing that actually came out was the tenor solo in the middle. That was actually where we started, and it starts off sort of I don't know if you'll be able to hear, but it starts off in sort of an unsettled, right at letter C there. Mm-hmm. And then that's the recording that we have of Edward Graves. And interestingly enough, the tenor that's singing in this is a singer that was in the opera class that I was in, where that Cindy was directing years and years and years ago. So there's kind of another connection here with Cindy that's kind of beautiful.
Children and parents, children and parents,
Wow.
As you can see, Edward he's a powerhouse. But anyway.
So again, gentlemen, if we were to say, as you got to the end of the process and you actually see it coming together, what goes through your minds when you feel, wow, we've rounded the bend, we're almost seeing the end? Eran, let's start with you. What do you think?
Right now, I feel so overwhelmed because that was my first time hearing it.
Yes. And so when something is again, the piece is being performed. It's right, it's being performed.
Yeah, so because of the whole COVID situation, it's actually going to be a virtual choir video. So like the orchestra was recorded first, and then I used that track for all my singers to sing against, yeah, so it's quite a process. The COVID has definitely it definitely has stymied, but also created so much beautiful creativity and the ability. I mean, that's what happens when artists are faced with a barrier. It almost makes it even more exciting to be able to express. And I think that's something that's happened during this time that ties in right with the idea of oppression, that actually what happens in oppression is the very opposite, is the human spirit just rises up in beautiful ways. And certainly I think Edward Graves singing in that captured that for me. I'm getting kind of emotional too, just thinking about him. But
well, I want to thank you both so much. I'm selfish in that I get to see you both again on a Zoom video. So it fills my heart with great joy. And I thank you for coming. I'm going to ask my wonderful Gail to see if there's any questions.
I have one, Emerson and Eran. Given that, what were the challenges given that you had to create this in a virtual environment with your musicians, and you only did it, how long did it take you to create that particular digital performance?
Well, Eran and I began the project at the beginning of January and worked for about a month together, hashing through it, disagreeing, agreeing, cutting, him very much disagreeing with me at times. In fact, some of the word repetitions are me repeating things over and over, not him. And in fact, in some cases, things he was like, absolutely do not do this, and I was like, but I have to. So there was that, but also the process to turning it into a virtual project is still in the making. So that little clip that you saw is the only part of the virtual choir thing that is actually finished right now. And that's that middle segment. So there's a bunch more choral segments that will be going through this, and that's going to probably be another 2 weeks in the making. So the debut will be May 2nd. But yeah, it's still, I mean, it'll probably be working right up to the end, trying to get it all. It's such a process with with electronics, bringing people together, making sure everyone's voice is, lined up. And
well, thank you. I want to ask everyone to think about what you just observed, because now that we're going into the pods, we are going to work together in trying to come up with words and putting them into some kind of form, and using some of the techniques that the Eads just talked about. And hopefully in a very short amount of time, we're going to create something. And maybe we can share it with the Eads brothers, and maybe they'll do something with what we've created, because we are a collaboration, and we're going to mash everything up, and we're going to do something brilliant by the beginning of June. So if that's okay with you guys. Yeah? All right.
I love it.
Oh, thank you so much.